make sure everybody knows why his or her job matters.
Yes,
There's no
true.
cog in the machine. There's no make work. There's no unimportant job. Everybody's job connects to that mission.
That's what I
Um,
asked.
our entry level job is the picker in our warehouse. What do we call them?
We call it a stock wicklers.
If you went up to our sock wranglers and said, "What's our mission? What's your job about?" They're going
Yes.
to tell you, my job is to spread happy.
That Entrepreneur Show, we are recording a special episode on Autism Awareness Day with John and Mark. They're doing so much for the community, and I loved the story when they came across as a potential guest. They're going to tell it way better than me, but they are focusing on bringing opportunities to those with intellectual development disabilities. And John's Crazy Socks, it is a social enterprise inspired by John, a young man with Down syndrome, and his love of colorful and fun socks. What he calls his crazy socks, John suggested to his father, Mark, that they start a business to spread this happiness. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to join That Entrepreneur Show.
Thank you, Fanta. I really very appreciate it. I'm on your show. Thank you very much.
We are entrepreneurs, so it is
Yeah, we
great
are.
to be on the Entrepreneur Show.
Yes,
In
Dad.
fact, now I guess it was a month or so ago, we were driving. We do a lot of public speaking. We were
Yes.
driving to give a talk before a business group early in the morning, and John, who's very organized, but not necessarily a morning person, is going through his phone and organizing his day, and he just looks at me and he says, "Dad, I love being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I
I have
love it.
things to do from 8 in the
Yes.
morning till 9 at night, and I love it."
And that's certainly the truth of an entrepreneur, especially when you're all in on the business in the beginning. Your whole day will be consumed by this business. But as you saw the smiles on their faces, they love what they do. And we are going to learn all about that. Again, welcome back to That Entrepreneur Show. Vincent A. Lancy here with two amazing guests. We have John and Mark joining us today. This is the podcast that brings on founders of companies and brands from all around the world, small business owners, to help fellow small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs get started and overcome some of the hurdles quicker than we did. As you just heard him say, he's got his schedule booked from in the morning till late at night. We're going to learn all about it. And I'll start with you. How do you balance all of these things? What are some things you do for time management to have that busy schedule?
Well, one of the things is we communicate a lot, because we do a lot together. Second, you have to know priorities. Um, it's
Yeah.
important to be able to say no. So we we stay focused on our highest and best use, on what we can do best for our business and for ourselves. We're also very fortunate to have a great team. So we rely a lot on our colleague Maria Lerner, who is our community organizer and keeps us organized. And sometimes she helps protect us from ourselves, to make sure we don't overbook or cram too much in a day. But a big part of it is knowing role and purpose and tying that to highest and best use, which means you have to be able to say no.
Being able to say no is something that comes up from time to time because it's so hard to do. We all want to say yes to everything. We don't want to miss an opportunity. We don't want to miss a speaking engagement. We don't want to miss an opportunity to make a difference, but we can't help other people and be others' best friends until we take care of ourselves and fill our own cup. Thank you for highlighting that.
Yeah, what's our most precious resource? Time. So if we're spending time doing something that somebody else could be doing, we're not doing what only we can do. And it's not always easy. You know, I could use the speaking engagement
Yes.
as an example. We travel the country. Last week we're in Indiana. The week before we're in Washington, D.C.
Amazing.
Next week we're going to Baltimore and then
Uh,
Washington State.
are we
And-
going to Holy Cross?
Oh, Holy Cross, we're going to
Uh,
Massachusetts, right?
That's next
Next
week. And 2 weeks, are we going to Baltimore?
And then Washington
Uh,
State.
Yeah, as well as
And we get paid for these events. Unless you speak to me and tell me you have no money. And then I'll say, okay, we'll do it anyway. So Maria doesn't like people to talk to me because that kind of undermines some of what we're trying to do.
Right.
I can certainly understand that, but you're kind and you're so passionate about giving back to this community. And I love here how I learned that you built the business on 5 pillars: inspiration and hope, giving back, fun products you can love, making it personal, and making it a great place to work. Walk me through creating these 5 pillars.
Well, it started, with John really. And that's the pillars. What's our mission, buddy?
Our mission is spread happiness and our vision. I should tell you, the key of the mission about is gratitude and do for others.
So
Amazing.
you have those 5 pillars. I'll kind of walk. The last one we added was make this a great place to work.
Yes.
This is something I've always tried to do. It's very personal for us. It was the last one because when we started, it was just the 2 of us. But
And
it's
how many
hard.
employees are you up to now?
Well, if you count everybody, we have 34 employees.
Incredible. Incredible.
But if our mission is to spread happiness, right?
Yes.
You have to start at home. How can we spread happiness elsewhere if our colleagues aren't happy? So we want to create a place where people can do their best work. And we've kind of built that around 6 pieces. 1, offer people a mission worthy of their commitment. Something bigger than ourselves, something that matters. And it can't be, we want to make money. And don't get me wrong, we want to make money, right?
Yes, we do.
It's raining outside, we'd like to live indoors.
Oh yeah, I love mac and cheese.
Yeah,
I love that.
But it's got to be something that people can relate to and intrinsically be motivated by. So that's 1. 2, make sure everybody knows why his or her job matters.
Yes.
There's no cog in the machine. There's no make work. There's no unimportant job. Everybody's job connects to that mission.
That's what I asked.
Our entry-level job is the picker in our warehouse. What do we call them?
We call it a stock wranglers.
If you went up to our stock wranglers and said, what's our mission? What's your job about? They're
Yes.
going to tell you, my job is to spread happy. There's a great story about President Kennedy visiting the NASA Houston facility when it first opened. And this was very early on when, we'll put a man on the moon.
Yeah. It's
And
wonderful.
he's walking around introducing himself to employees. And it comes across a man who was obviously a janitor. And he says, well, what's your job? The man looks him in the eye and says, my job is to put a man on the moon. That's what you want.
You want people all in.
But you can't force it. You have to offer it to them. You have to demonstrate it. 3rd, put people in a position to succeed. Don't ask them to do what they can't do. So we don't ask John to do our finances.
I never do finance. And also, Vincent, I'm very good at tours. And that is a lot of opportunities all the app hacks.
You give great tours. That's right.
Yes.
You're a great face of the business.
I am. I have a bit for now.
I agree.
And part of that is give people what they need to succeed.
Yeah.
So if Nick, our webmaster, needs some software, why don't we get it for him? We're a small business. We don't have unlimited resources,
Right.
but help people. Like our job, yeah, we set the vision, but after that, our job is to work for everybody else, make sure they can succeed.
Can I ask you a question here? Where do you find employees who are so bought into your mission, where they're all on board, they all have the same response when they ask what they do? For everyone listening on out there who may be struggling to find a workforce that's so reliable and loyal like you have found.
People are out there, but I think the mistake is to say, oh, we have to find the people that will make that happen here. No, it's the other way. We have to make it happen here, and that will attract people. So I'll go down kind of a sidetrack here. When we go to hire, we don't start the day we have an opening, right? We host tours here so people come through. We have work
Great
groups
idea.
that come through. We work with a lot of social service agencies. We're very engaged in the community. We share who we are in our social media. So when it comes time to hire, people know us
Love that.
and we work through our community. And also, when we do a job posting, the job posting is 5 or 6 pages long. It describes our culture. It describes the work environment. It describes who succeeds here so that people can opt in. We don't post jobs on, what is it, ZipRecruiter and Indeed. Because when you do that, you just get basket loads of crap. But it's anytime, and I go into another business. That could be a 7-Eleven, it could be visiting a warehouse, whatever it is. You always look at management first. If I'm not trying to deny people personal responsibility, but if there's somebody behind the counter who's not paying attention to customers or is talking on the phone while they're doing that, my first impulse is, where's management? What type of training did they give this person? What type of reinforcement did they give? And so here's an experience of that. I've coached sports for a long time. I coached high school sports and then youth sports. If you have a team and you have a good culture on that team, now you add somebody who's an outlier, who doesn't quite match that culture. If you have a good culture, they're going to bring them in. But if you haven't developed that culture, if you haven't gotten buy-in from those folks, you're going to have a mess. Everybody's going to be an individual.
Well said.
It keeps coming back to, how do you do that? And that's why, I come back to these pillars, right? It's offer people a mission worthy of the commitment. Our mission's not going to work for everybody. Make sure everybody knows why their job matters. Put them in a position to succeed. Compensation matters. You don't have to offer the highest wage, but it has to be a fair wage. I'm a strong believer that compensation is not an incentive, but it can be a disincentive. If I don't think I'm being paid fairly, that's not going to work because it's going to stick in my craw. And then, 5, say thank you.
Yeah.
Recognize the work that people do. Vincent, you work hard on your podcast. If somebody comes up to you and says, I was listening to that entrepreneur show the other day. What a great job. What great questions you asked. Doesn't that lift your boat? Doesn't that make you feel good? And it can be as simple as going around and saying, hey, thanks, folks. Making sure, recently we were profiled in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's magazine. Well, make sure everybody knows. Look, they're singling out our business because of what you do. We recently had a visit from a congressman. Um, make sure everybody is part of that visit so that they know, yeah, you work at the place, you make it that it's worthy to get a congressman come visit your business. And then the last part, stay the hell out of the way. Let people do their job. Give people autonomy. Don't micromanage. Nobody wants that.
I certainly have bad experiences of being micromanaged, as many of us listening on do at some point in their journey. They have a boss or a leader, in quotes, a leader who just micromanages after they delegate.
If you ask how do you do this, if if you're managing people in such a way that you're telling them, I don't trust you, that I have to keep watching what you're doing, people will respond in kind. If you respond that, boy, I respect you, we value what you do, we want to encourage you, we have other role models you can follow, then people lift themselves up.
I love the positivity. I love that entire message. I want to ask one more question from each of you before we find out where we can find you online. Now that you've been scaling this business, you've been growing a little bit. What have been some of the harder parts of that growth to help all these other entrepreneurs out there who are at that tipping point?
I think the biggest challenge that we have had has been capitalization. When we started, we were bootstrapping. We went the lean startup route.
Yep.
And that's a whole conversation of get up and go. Stop talking about it, take action and go. We had terrific growth our first 2 years. Our third year, things came down a bit, still very positive. We were making profit on paper and I had no cash. Where was the cash? It was in the inventory and the infrastructure we built up. And then you combine that with the fact that our business is very seasonal. We do more than half of our business in the last 6 weeks of the year, which means you need capital to get you through the year. We didn't have that, and that threatened our business. And then to get it, people don't just give you money. So that's been a challenge. And then it's the challenges that you have in any business. Who planned on a pandemic? Of staying relevant as technology changes, the marketplace changes. I do believe that if you know what your core purpose is, know your why, know what your values are, that'll keep you moving forward. That'll make sure you know what your North Star is.
I love that. The North Star, and follow your North Star. Everyone's is going to look different, but you know your mission, you know where you want to go. We do have to be flexible how we get there as an entrepreneur at a lot of times, but stick true to your mission, stick true to your passion. John, what is your favorite part about your company? And then I want you to tell us where we can find you online. But before that, what is the one thing you want all of your new fans and listeners to know about your company?
Check it to my website. It's johncreatingthought.com. My favorite part I'm working is big engagement, videos, TikToks, and design socks. It's wonderful.
You love everything you do.
I love it. I love it. I can't do
What are we showing people every day?
every day, and we can change the world because we are knucklehead selling socks.
Knucklehead selling socks.
I love it.
Yeah.
You mentioned
what people with different abilities can do.
Absolutely.
You mentioned TikTok. Where can everybody find your TikTok online?
Yeah, I check out TikTok. Probably on John Quinton.
John's Crazy Socks. You
John's
just
Crazy
search for
Socks.
John's Crazy Socks. We're on every social media platform. I think John's up to about 70,000 followers on
Yes.
TikTok.
Way to
Love
go.
those dancing thing, dance moves, right?
Yes. Oh, I want to check you out something.
What?
Yes.
Every Tuesday, I host an online dance party every Tuesday, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern time. I check out to my online dance party on Zoom like this, and it's wonderful. I'm gonna be on.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to put that in the show description for when we go live. Can we find that on your
Yes.
website, John? That's on your website, that Zoom?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time once again
Thank
to
you so
come
much,
on
Vincent.
That Entrepreneur Show. Be sure to go check them out online. Be sure to go stop by his dance party. The show is at That Entrepreneur Show on all social media. I am at Vincent A. Lancy on all social media and YouTube. Be sure to head to YouTube and subscribe to me there to watch the video from today's incredible show. Stay on the lookout from these guys. I hope to have them on a mental health break down the road as well. And with that, we are signing off today. Guys, I can't wait to see what you do next in the news. And thanks again for coming on. Bye, John.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Let's go, Jets!
Go
Hey,
Jets.
let's go, Jets. I love it.